Hey guys, today we're going to be doing a comparison between the North Face Surge and the Patagonia 32-liter Black Hole pack. I recently featured both of these in a couple of different comparisons. I compared the Surge with the Recon and then the Black Hole pack with the Mini MLC, so I kept it kind of within the same company's ecosystem, but now I wanted to talk a little bit about how these two bags compare against each other, as they come in at a pretty similar size range, and I imagine that people that are exploring options from some of these larger brands might sort of be curious about which one of these might be best depending on their particular needs. So hopefully this video is helpful. Before jumping in, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing, as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. To kick things off, the first thing I want to mention is that I do think both of these bags are really solid overall. I've enjoyed using them both quite a bit, and to me, comparing the North Face and Patagonia is almost like comparing Android and iOS in a way. Both of them are really good, and which one is going to be best for you is going to vary a lot depending on what you're looking for out of a bag. To me, the North Face has more of an Android throw the kitchen sink at a bag approach, so putting in a lot of extra features, whereas the Patagonia to me has a little bit more of that Apple iOS flavor of just keeping things simple, trying to minimize, and really including kind of what's really needed as part of a backpack. So interesting approaches, both can work. As I've mentioned, I've enjoyed them both, but that's one of the lenses that I'll be using as I go through the review. And so the first thing I'll be talking about is just the aesthetic. Both of these have a little bit more of an outdoorsy vibe. They're not overwhelmingly technical. They don't look completely like hiking backpacks or anything like that, but they still have webbing along the front. There's attachment points, there's pockets. So it's not a super minimal or modern bag, but to me, they're versatile enough that they're still gonna work well for exploring a city. They will work well in the outdoors, and they're also just gonna be great travel bags. Taking a look at the materials, both bags are pretty solidly built. This is also an area where the aesthetic varies a little bit more, as the Patagonia has this signature kind of shiny exterior fabric, whereas the Surge has a more subdued fabric. Both of them use a recycled ripstop fabric. North Face uses nylon. I believe that the Patagonia is a recycled polyester, but I will throw up the information onto the screen and confirm in the description. Regardless, I haven't had any issues with either of these, and I do like that these fabrics, in addition to being recycled, help to keep the weight of the bag down. They also offer a nice amount of weather resistance, and then both of them have smooth working, reliable YKK zippers all throughout. Continuing along the exterior, both bags have a carrying handle at the top. I will say that the North Face's has a little bit more padding and comfort, whereas the Patagonia handle is a very simple strap. It's pretty thin. It's gonna get the job done for hanging the bag up, but the North Face carrying handle is gonna be much more comfortable to grab. And then they both have external water bottle pockets along the sides, one on each side. They both offer a pretty good amount of space. I will say the North Face's pockets feel a little bigger, so if you have a thicker, larger Yeti water bottle, the North Face might give you some extra flexibility. The pockets on the North Face bag also just feel a little bit more rugged, as they are not made entirely out of mesh like the ones on the Patagonia bag. These can sometimes, to me, feel like they might not be as durable over the long term. I haven't run into any issues, but just kind of comparing the two, there's something about the North Face water bottle pockets that just gives me a little bit more peace of mind, but they both offer good stretch, good space for most types of water bottles that you might be carrying with you. And then along the front, they both have a little bit of webbing. The implementation here is different in that the North Face has less sort of attachment points along the front with their webbing, and it's a little bit bigger, so I like that this will allow me to put something like my Hero Clip more comfortably through the loop, whereas the ones on the Patagonia bag are a little bit smaller. I'd have to use a thinner, smaller carabiner, but you do have more ways to attach stuff, so kind of have to keep that in mind depending on what you're going to be using these webbings for. I actually like to use it on the North Face bag to attach a luggage pass-through strap, which can work for either one of them. And then on the Patagonia bag, you have an additional handle on the front that can either work as a luggage pass-through. I actually showed this in a recent video. It actually works better than I would have expected for that purpose, but then you can also use it to pick the bag up, to load it into an overhead storage compartment, pull it out of your trunk. So it is nice to have this extra bit of functionality on the front. And then the North Face includes compression straps on the bottom of the bag, and that's going to allow you to, hold a yoga mat, a tripod. It'll help you compress the bag down a little bit when it's not as full. You don't have those compression straps on the Patagonia bag, which gives it a cleaner and simpler look. It might also help save a little on the weight, but you don't have that same functionality. And then both of them definitely want you to know which brand their bag is. So the North Face has this really intense white logo on the front. I imagine this could provide some visibility if you're riding your bike or somewhere a little bit darker, but it is very prominent. I've never been a big fan of the North Face's logo. And then same for the Patagonia bag right along the front. This one isn't as big as some of their other bags, but it's still more prominent than I would like to see. So that just kind of comes with the territory with these bags. The Surge backpack also has the name of the model on the bottom. And then taking a look at the capacity, the bags have a pretty similar size just as far as the volume. The Surge comes in at around 31 liters and the Black Hole pack comes in at 32 liters. The way that their volume is distributed though is a little different just because the Black Hole pack has a much simpler layout than the North Face backpack. Regardless, both of them can hold an impressive amount. So if you carry a little bit more on your day-to-day, if you're going for a longer hike, or if you want something that can work as a minimal travel bag, both of these are going to be able to hold an impressive amount. A couple of packing cubes, and larger tech pouches, bulkier headphones. The main compartments on both of these are really spacious, and I'll dive a little bit more into that as well as some of the organizational options later on. But good size, especially if you're a little taller. And for the most part, these will be bags that you can carry onto a variety of domestic and international airlines. If you have a little bit more space under the seat, you might even be able to get away with using them as personal items, but they will be pretty tight to fit under some seats. Moving into the harness systems, both bags have been pretty comfortable to wear, but this is an area where I do think that the North Face's approach gives it a little bit of a heads up in terms of support and comfort. It's got a really good amount of padding, particularly on the back panel. It's just got some robust, very soft padding that also has some air channels, so it's going to create a little bit more airflow and ventilation. The straps, I know that this newer North Face models have not been popular with people that have used North Face bags in the past. For me though, they've still felt fine as far as just offering enough padding for the size of the bag. You have a sternum strap that's adjustable. It does also include a removable waist strap if you want to have a little bit more support. So you get some extra functionality there. It also has a really rigid frame sheet that helps keep the weight of the bag distributed. And so when you're wearing a lot of weight for a longer period of time, for me, at least, that's a nice feature to have. Whereas the Black Hole pack is much simpler. You still have some good padding on the straps and on the back panel. And this one is actually maybe a little more breathable because it does have an air mesh on the straps and the back panel. There's not as much elevation, so the air channels aren't super large. So a bit of a trade-off there on whether you prefer the air mesh breathability or the deeper air channels with the North Face. And then you have a sternum strap on the Patagonia backpack as well. Don't have the ability to add a waist strap, and it doesn't include one. But then one of the biggest differences is just in the fact that the Black Hole pack line doesn't really have a ton of structure. It's not super rigid when it's not packed out, which can help again with the weight and just keeping the bag a little bit simpler. But once it's loaded out and you're carrying it for a longer period of time, you do start to feel it a little bit more with the Black Hole pack, in my opinion. Jumping into the organizational options, this is really one of the biggest areas where the bags differ quite a bit. As far as their philosophies, the North Face has a lot more variety of pockets that are available, whereas the Black Hole pack takes a more minimalistic approach. And so starting off with the Black Hole pack, at the top, you have a large quick access pocket, which I absolutely love. This is definitely the type of pocket that is particularly useful when traveling, as you can just place a pouch in here, toiletries, all of the stuff that's in your pockets while going through TSA, over your headphones. And so very simple, but a large amount of space with good volume. So even for something that's bulkier, you're gonna be able to reach down and grab it easily. The North Face has this area split into kind of two. So at the front, you have a quick access pocket that's got this soft fleece lining on the inside, and it's got a decent amount of volume, so you can place some technical items in here, maybe some smaller pouches, anything that's a little bit more delicate is going to be able to fit in here pretty comfortably, and it's nice to have that soft fleece lining. But then you also have another sort of quick access admin area, which the Patagonia bag doesn't really have anything like this, and this has a good amount of space as well. So you can use it to just toss in pouches and larger things like I mentioned with the Patagonia bag. But then you also have built-in organization here. You have some slip pockets, you have a slot for some pens, a stylus, some fleece lined pockets for a delicate item like your phone, or you have a tablet sleeve, zippered compartment. So a lot of different areas to organize all of the smaller items that you might want to grab with you while you're on the go. On the front face, both bags offer some additional organization. Again, the Patagonia bag keeps things pretty simple. You have one zippered compartment here. It's got a vertically oriented zipper, so you can swing the bag around, grab something without taking it all the way off, or when you place it down, it's easy to get in and out. This compartment offers a little bit of volume, but it can start to get tight when the main compartment is packed out, and there's no internal organization here, so anything that you place in the bag is going to slide towards the bottom. This is where I would typically store a pouch like the Evergoods Cap 1 or the Modern Day Fair pouch, even something simple like the Topo Designs accessory bags, just something that kind of keeps everything organized that I can slide into here easily. Also a great spot for travel documentation, a travel wallet, as you can get to it very quickly. So like the simplicity there, whereas the North Face, of course, goes a little bit further, and you have two zippered compartments along the front. Both of them offer a pretty good amount of space. This is where I would typically store my sunglasses, a couple of pouches. One of these pockets on the front has some built-in organization, some more slip pockets for smaller items that you want to be able to reach easily, like a portable battery, dongles, chargers, things like that. And then on the other side, you have a compartment with a similar zipper, but it's got a simpler layout. So just a lot of space here for toiletry pouches, a jacket, umbrella, again, larger items that you want to grab more easily. So more flexibility here and just variety with how you can store your stuff again versus the simple layout of the zipper compartment on the Patagonia. Up next, we have the laptop compartment, and both of them have a laptop area that's separate from the main compartment, so it's pretty easy to access your device while you're on the go, which I really like, as opposed to having the sleeve inside of the main compartment. The Black Hole pack has this sort of more old school, I would say, fully flat opening laptop area. Kind of this, what they would call the TSA approved sleeve that doesn't really work for me. I still have to place my device into a bin most of the time, but you do get some nice visibility here for the compartment. And the sleeve, as we've seen with many of other Patagonia bags, it's going to offer a pretty decent amount of padding. It's not the thickest sleeve, but enough to make me feel like my device is protected. It is pulled up off the bottom of the ground, so when you place your bag down, it doesn't feel like your device is going to be in any danger. I also like that this has a dedicated tablet sleeve with a soft lining on the inside. The laptop sleeve doesn't have that same soft lining, and I believe that is because this is also meant to handle a hydration bladder. You have a little pass-through here for the nozzle, depending on how you want to use it. So nice, simple layout here. This can be, in my opinion, a little bit trickier to close, or it starts to feel tight when the main area is really packed out. So I feel like sometimes this ability to open fully flat, it doesn't really offer a ton of value, but your mileage may vary. And then on the North Face side, this bag has one of my favorite laptop compartments of any bag because it offers lots in the way of protection and padding. It's pretty rigid. It offers a false bottom that's properly pulled up so you can place your device in there comfortably. The sleeve of the laptop compartment is a little bit thicker, and it also has a soft lining to help prevent against scratching. And in this compartment, you also have a couple of different sections, so you can store your tablet in one of these areas. You can use it to hold some documentation, so it's going to give you a little bit more space, which does maybe take up some capacity from the 31 liters in the rest of the bag. But if carrying your tech and keeping it really safe and accessible is important, I do think that this one is going to offer a little bit more protection, and it's also going to be slightly easier to access because on the Black Hole pack, the zipper is actually behind the straps. so you have to kind of get them out of the way to access the zipper, which can provide maybe a little bit more security, maybe. And then on the North Face bag, you can get to the laptop zipper without being impeded by the strap. So other little things to call out, both of them will keep your device safe, but I do feel like the Surge is gonna offer a little bit more protection and accessibility. The last area we're gonna be comparing is the main compartments, and both of these have pretty simple and spacious main areas that you can just place a ton of stuff into, and they're both top loading compartments, so they don't open up fully flat, which is really nice when you're traveling and just be able to place things in there and not have to worry about the bag accidentally opening. With that, however, you don't have full visibility into the main compartments, which can make packing and getting to particular items a little bit more challenging. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. That's why I would say these aren't traditional travel bags in the sense, but very, very kind of just open spaces. The North Face compartment actually is the slightly simpler layout here. You don't really have any other internal organization, just a large space that works very well with a more modular style of packing. This is also great for holding bulkier books and binders. That's why this bag, I believe, is very popular among college students and other high school students. It just works quite well in that regard, but then that amount of space is also great for other types of accessories. You also have a high contrast lining to make it a little bit easier to see. And beyond that, nothing super complicated, no other internal organization, compression straps, so I like the simplicity there. And then with the Black Hole pack, this is a top loading bag, but it has this sort of bucket style lid that I'm always a fan of. I feel like it's a nice in between a top loader and a clamshell style. Reminds me a little bit of an Evergoods backpack maybe, or the Civic Hexus pouch, where it just kind of flips open and you can reach in and grab whatever you need from the large main compartment. You also have a gray liner here, so a good amount of contrast to give you some visibility. One of the differences is this compartment does have a internal zippered mesh compartment with a little lanyard, so if you have smaller items that you don't want falling to the bottom, or something a little more delicate that you don't want as easily accessible from the external compartments, that is one area where the Patagonia bag has an additional pocket over the North Face bag. But beyond that, just big amount of space here, very easy to stuff with bulkier items similar to the one on the North Face backpack. This one just feels like it can hold maybe a little bit more, in addition to having a larger stated volume at 32 liters. Because there's not all those other pockets that the North Face backpack has, it just feels like this compartment can really hold just a little bit more. So if you're going for total space or you have larger items, that's definitely going to be a big plus for the Patagonia backpack. So that covers the majority of the differences. I really enjoyed both of these bags. They're two of my top recommendations, particularly for people who are looking for something from a more well-known or mainstream brand. The pricing on these is going to be pretty similar, I believe. I think the Surge comes in at a little over 130, maybe 140, $50 in that range. And then the Patagonia backpack comes in at closer to $200. Patagonia products in general seem to come with a little bit of a premium, which I don't mind. I'm a big fan of the company and their mission and everything like that, but for everybody else, it might not be worth it. If you want to get something reliable at a little bit of a lower price point, North Face is going to be a fantastic alternative. In general though, I really like both of these bags, and if you need something that's going to give you just more organization, more padding, more sort of options and versatility, then the Surge backpack may be the way to go, as it does have all those extra pockets. It's got compression straps on the bottom and the more robust harness and laptop compartment. But if you want something that's durable but that focuses more on just the minimal features that you need to kind of keep your stuff accessible and secure while you're on the go, and that's going to give you maybe a little bit more space and added weather resistance, then the Black Hole pack may be the way. And regardless of which one you pick, you're going to get a durable, spacious, and really useful bag. And so that's it. That is my comparison of the North Face Surge backpack and the Patagonia Black Hole pack. Hopefully this video was helpful, and if you have any questions on the bags or suggestions for similar bags that I should check out or similar comparison videos that I should do, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I'll make sure to include links in the description below to the dedicated reviews that I've done for these bags, as well as to the videos that I've done comparing some of the other models from the North Face, from Patagonia, and just some of the other roundup videos from my favorite minimal travel bags, expandable travel bags, things like that. And I want to thank you as always for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.